These are questions that many people are asking as fathers are becoming more and more prevalent in our work with families. Welcome to Reaching Dads, the top 10 best practices to keep in mind as you work to engage men. This is part of the My Dad Matters webinar series. All webinars can be found under the webinars and videos link at mydad.ca. Though there are many things that can help us to engage fathers, what we are going to talk about here are 10 key things that can help you reach out to fathers and other men raising children. As we talk about reaching dads, it's important to keep the bigger picture in mind. This is about the kids. It's about a father's impact on the healthy development of his children. Everything you do to engage a father needs to be seen through the lens of how you are supporting his connection and involvement with his children. So let's get started. Tip number 1, organizational buy-in. Engaging fathers requires everyone's attention. It will be a struggle if the organization does not make it a priority. What can happen is that one or two people will be enthusiastic about father involvement, but that can quickly fade if there is not the support from higher levels of management and decision making. So what can you do about this? Well, this means maybe creating a mission statement. Maybe it's setting goals for father engagement and participation. Maybe there's ongoing staff training you want to take advantage of. It's maybe keeping father involvement on staff meeting agendas, or having father involvement information in staff orientation manuals. It will take intentional, focused discussions that lead to action steps for your organization. This involves also looking at your biases and stereotypes. We need to look at our assumptions about men as parents, because our assumptions will often guide our practice. So for more on this, check out the Dealing with Stereotypes webinar at mydad.ca. But once the organization has made father involvement a priority, it is necessary to follow through on the second tip. Talk to the dads. We need to talk to them. If you want to reach dads, it's best if you find out what they want and then do everything you can to deliver on what they say. Talking with dads also helps you tailor the services and programs to the needs of the fathers you are striving to reach. Just because something works in one community doesn't mean it's going to work in yours. So this may mean focus groups for dads and moms. Find out what they're looking for. You can find some ideas about focus groups on mydad.ca as well. Maybe you want to provide some feedback forms or evaluations. You can ask questions that relate to what you are doing and how that is supporting father involvement. Maybe you want to have a social media presence. You can use Facebook or Twitter to send out messages and keep connected with the men. Tip number 3 is about partnerships. It's difficult for one organization to work on its own to engage fathers. Reaching men works best when there are community partnerships created. This helps share resources like space and facilitation and the cost. It also enables you to meet a more diverse needs that fathers may bring. So try to find other community agencies or places of worship or men's clubs who can be a part of a broader effort to support fathers. Tip 4 is about relevance. We need to have relevant resources and promotion materials that actually speak to fathers. Resources are one way that dads can see that you are able to offer support to them. It's encouraging for them to see booklets or posters or things in your center that speak directly to fatherhood. You can do this by having quality resources that speak to issues that are important to dads as well. These things need to speak in a dad's language. They need to be positive in their messaging about father involvement. So look for booklets or posters or fact marks. Maybe there's magazine articles, maybe there's website links or Facebook posts. Dad Central Ontario has a number of resources that you may want to take advantage of at dadcentral.ca. The 5th tip is to be holistic. Engaging men cannot happen in a vacuum. Men with children are not only living in a fatherhood role, they're also partners, workers, employers. They also may be dealing with issues such as legal struggles or housing or employment. There might be stress in their couple relationship. Lots of other things may be going on. And this is where partnerships can come into play. It's likely that you cannot meet all the needs a father may have, but you can build a referral network that helps you get men connected with the support that they may need. Tip number 6 is to make it unique. Don't just rename a mother-focused program with a fathering name. Dads have unique ways of bonding and interacting with children. These need to be acknowledged and applied to programming that we offer to fathers. Programs need to be active and hands-on, with some literacy or science or numeracy kind of activities sprinkled in. For example, some successful father-child activities have been touch-a-truck, or cool karate for dads and kids, hikes, barbecues, dad's reading circles that include puppetry and action songs. So when you're thinking about what you're going to do to reach out to dads, provide activity-based programming. Often the activity-based things that you offer will be a doorway for the dad into the more educational or support aspects of what you offer as well. Tip number 7 is about scheduling. This is a tough one. Generally speaking, dads are not available during 9 to 5 business hours, though there are many exceptions. So this means that you may need to offer programs in the evening or on the weekends, which also means that you may have to have staff available to work when the fathers themselves are available. So finding out when the dads are most likely to be available is something you can ask when doing a focus group or some kind of survey, like we spoke about in tip number 2. Tip number 8 is about engaging the family. Fathers are not readily available for you to invite or speak with about programs for them. You have other options. You can talk with the moms. You can ask them to let the dads know about things that are coming up. You can inform moms about the importance and the value of fathers' involvement with their children and how that's good for their children and for them as moms. You can also engage the children. You can give the children information to take home and share with dad. Maybe the children could do a craft or a picture that relates to some upcoming event that you would like dads to know about. Number 9, feed them. Food is something that men appreciate. It allows men to have something to do while talking. It's something that men can kind of bond around. Though food may become expensive to provide on a regular basis, you can create a partnership with a food bank or a church or somewhere else that may provide meals for you. And finally, tip number 10, take your time. There are too many stories of organizations offering a program for fathers once or twice. The numbers are low, and so the decision is to stop the program. This is why the organizational buy-in is so important, like we talked about in tip number 1. Engaging fathers takes time. Momentum builds slowly. We need to be consistent and present and inviting and persistent. It often can take over a year before regular numbers of fathers are accessing the services we are providing. So take your time. Take some pressure off yourself. Know that starting with 2 or 3 dads is a good and necessary step. So hopefully you've learned some things that will help in your efforts to reach dads. If you have any other questions or want to know more about the My Dad Matters toolkit, you can send an email to the address on this slide. So may at least one child benefit from the things that we have shared here.